Hello, this is Rebirth of Legend here with another part of my guide. So I'm planning to make a multi-part guide series, and this will probably end up being the first part. This is going to be a quick primer on itemizing for Antimage. This whole guide will be on playing Antimage. Now I'm going to explain my itemization. So this is the build I almost always go with, and I'm going to give an explanation for why. And when I say almost, I mean probably every single game at this point, honestly. The only change-up I would maybe make is if I was against like a Tide Hunter, or someone who does physical damage like a Slaughter or a Tide Hunter. Am is actually a very low base armor hero with 2 armor. And I would sell maybe 1 set of Tangos for a Ring of Protection and maybe get an early Ring of Basilius in lane. But to explain the rationale behind this itemization, we're gonna go to gold 2500, level up 25. Fuck. Okay, so the rationale for this itemization specifically, which is 8 Tangos and a Salve, is that it opens up a lot of possibilities for your lane. So there's going to be another video on playing your lane aggressively, and playing your lane aggressively, it's very important to have a lot of regen. If you're in a defensive tri lane, you could get away with having less regen, but I'll explain why in a little bit. Why you probably would still want more regen, even if you were in a defensive tri lane where you're getting free farm. So what this build allows you to do is you pretty much always want to start with a stout shield, and the reason you want a stout shield is because it will decrease the amount. Okay, so I need to backtrack. The biggest sign of, like, to me, when I see a pub carry that's a melee hero, is I'm buying a Quelling Blade over a stout shield. Quelling Blade helps you get more creeps, but not having a stout shield, like let's say if your teammates pull like immediately and you don't have that stout shield, you're gonna lose like half your HP in the first creep wave. It's going to be ridiculous how much you actually lose in the first creep wave. So the stout shield's always better, and you just need to learn to last hit. Oops, right, I'm really high level right now. So you just need to learn to last hit correctly without the stout shield early on. And if you want, or without the Quelling Blade early on. And if you want to rush the Quelling Blade, like that could be the first thing you get, do it. Like, that's totally fine. I get it very frequently, and the reason is not just because, like, oh, lasting is hard, so I get the Quelling Blade to make life easier. It's not that. It's that when you're under tower, you know, the tower actually does a variable damage. It's a range of like 100 to 120 damage, an average of 110, right? So it does vary on how much it does to a crease, but in general, if you're an Antimage and you have 1 level in Mana Break, you got a Poor Man's Shield and a Quelling Blade, you can kill all melee creeps with 5 hits. Or 5 hits from the tower and then 1 auto attack, and all ranged with 2 attacks from the tower and 1 attack from you. There is a small amount of variance, and there are more advanced ways, but that's something outside the scope of what I need to accomplish here. There are ways where you can, like, hedge the tower damage and gauge whether or not you need to do something to ensure you get a last hit, and kind of defeat or heavily mitigate the variance in tower last hitting. But we're not going to go over that for now. We're mainly talking about item builds here. So so what this Tangos allow you to do is in a lane where let's say you're in a 1v1 versus a Clinks or something, it's going to let you blink really aggressively on the Clinks and waste his mana, and having regen to actually trade with him, because he might come to lane with a Wraith Band, he might even come to lane with 8 Tangos, but you have a Stout Shield and probably a Poor Man's Shield, and you're going to be trading with Mana Break. So it's more likely than not that you're going to be able to out-trade a Clinks or an enemy offlaner if you come to lane with this much regen and Mana Break. Because very few people can trade with Mana Break, and one of the ways they could trade is if, let's say, you come to lane with like 1 set of Tangos, Stout Shield, Quelling Blade, which is some openings you'll see, and a Tide Hunter comes to lane with 8 Tangos and a Salve and let's say a Ring of Protection. Even though he's not going to have any mana at the end of it, he's going to be able to bring your HP very, very low that 8 Tangos is not going to help. So that's why it's really important in aggressive lanes to open up the possibility of aggression and punishing otherwise shitty, laners who should be punished for thinking that they can lane against you. The other thing is, like, let's even say you're in a 3 protect 1 or something, and like this off laner is like a clockwork who has to like jungle with no items. Like let's say it's that bad where he's level 1 and you're still level 5. One of the things you're gonna want to do when playing Antimage, which will be covered in a later video, is as part of your efficient farming pattern, as soon as you basically can get treads, poor man shield, and start jungling, you want to start pushing the creep wave out super hard, so you force the creep wave to the enemy tower to put pressure on their tower, and then you use that time to farm out the jungle. So you'll farm random camps. In 7.0, these spawn every 2 minutes now, so you have to actually go to farther camps. This one, occasionally even that one, if you can fit it in, but that will be really hard until you have a very high level in Blink. But you should be able to swing in and maybe get a bounty rune when you're over here or something like that, and farm at least these 3 camps and 4 waves every 2 minutes, which will get you a lot of farm and get you a very, very fast Battle Fury timing, where you can easily get Tread's Battle Fury in 12 and a half minutes. It would be something like that's in a perfect game. That's not like an expectation. My average timing is probably like 14-15 minutes for Battle Fury Treads, because I play a lot of contested lanes in Dota, just because of how the people I play with generally play, where it's very sacrificial on the safe lane. Yeah, so another justification I want to talk about here is I pretty much always buy a poor man's shield. There's almost no situation where I don't. The reason for that is if we look at a stout shield, we're going to buy a whole poor man's shield so we can compare them. Okay, now we're going to buy another stout shield. There we go. If you look, it gives you 6 agility, which is 6 more damage, 6 more attack speed, and basically 1 more armor, because every 7 agility is an armor. So when I drop this, I go to 13 armor. It gives you a little more resistance, but another huge thing, it brings your block chance from 16 to 20. So that's a 25% increase in the amount of damage you're going to block when it procs. And it is the same on creeps. So when you're jungling, like when you're going to be jungling a lot, you're going to be jumping through these creep waves, you're actually going to lose a fair amount of HP early in the game. Even with a Ring of Health, tread switching, and whatever, you're still going to actually lose a fair amount of HP. So mitigating another 25% of the or it would actually be like 12. It's not 25%. It'd be like about 12.5% more HP or less HP that you'd lose, because of it's a 50% chance and it's a 25% increase. So you only get a 12.5% more HP, but that can be a pretty big difference when you're jungling, because you never want to lose enough HP to where it loses your ability to have confidence in the lane. I think you should pretty much always have a poor man shield, because it helps with your ability to jungle and also helps your ability to train, because the other big thing for those who are unaware is that poor man shield gives 100% block chance against heroes. So like let's say the sniper is pecking at you, he's constantly attacking you. Every single time he attacks you, it's 20%. It's only for creeps that it goes from 100% to 50%, and it is equivalent block chance to the stout shield. So that's the only time. See, it says creep block chance and just block chance. So it's very, very good for trading with heroes, and it helps a fair bit with jungling, particularly when you're jungling very, very aggressively. Which, if you're in a very free lane, you will actually be jungling very aggressively very early on. And the earlier you start your jungling, the more HP you'll lose. So that's the other reason why, if you utilize early jungling, that you'd want to start with a large amount of regen. And I should have mentioned this in the beginning. Another reason is because, let's say you think you're going to have the easiest lane in your life, and you start with like 4 tangos, stout, quelling. Something happens and you lose half your HP and you want more tangos or a salve. The timing in which you'd want that, which is usually in the first 3 minutes, is when your mid's going to be getting his bottle. And you can't be taking the courier from your mid without like drastically affecting them, because like mid's basically a fight for, like, if you get your bottle first, it'll give you that lane domination for the time in which you have your bottle and they don't. And if the only reason that let's say your mid's doing really well and has a decent time bottle, but is, let's say, low on regen because he was trading or something, and because you sent more tangos to yourself, you delay his bottle by 45 seconds, and then the other guy has his bottle at the same time, you've lost him that 45-second edge where he could really put the enemy mid through like the ringer, or he could exploit that window. So if you come with enough regen, you'll literally never need to use the courier except for your eventual what's that thing called, broadsword? Claymore. Man, I always confuse those. This is the only item you can't get for your Battle Fury in the side shop. So you want to put off... So that's the only thing you should ever need the courier to send you in the first 12 minutes, 15 minutes of the game, until you get your Battle Fury. And then if you get a Vlad's, you'll need more stuff too. You'll need the courier again for some of this stuff. But yeah, that's really the gist of it. I want to go over these really core early game items. Explain why I think Poor Man's Shield is essential. Why I think coming with tons of regen to lane is really the optimum play. I don't think a Quelling Blade opening is something you should get used to, because there's going to be situations where that's not viable. Like, if you know you're going to be against an aggro try, you can't go to lane with a Quelling Blade and expect not to get brutalized. Like, you need that extra regen to anticipate the damage you're going to take. Whether it's because you're trying to, like, go for kills with your team and you tank a lot of damage or whatever. You can't be put in a situation where you can be thrown out of the lane because of, like, one exchange, right? So yeah, in difficult lanes, you want it for trading. In game lanes where you want to play aggro, you want it for trading. And in games that are very safe, you want it because it's going to open up early game jungling for you. And early game jungling, while getting you more farm, does cost a lot more hit points because your damage and everything is less. So yeah, that about summarizes why I think I was thinking about going over different openings like Poor Man's Shield and Tango, but like I really heavily advocate high regen openings. And not using the crutch that is opening with a Quelling Blade. You need to just learn to deal with, like, level 1. Like, I miss creep sometimes. My last hitting has gotten worse as my game sense and my lane control has gotten better. I don't know how that worked out. I guess I had to choose, and I chose to become worse at last hitting and become significantly better at everything else. So I guess I'll take it, because I think I've improved overall as a player, but, you know, there's drawbacks to everything. But yeah, so I think that kind of covers it. So the TLDR is get Tangos, Salve, and a Stout Shield opening, and then buy everything else you need from here. You should always try and get treads first if you can. If you're kind of iffy on your trades, or you're doing a lot of aggressive like blink trading with like a Tide or with like a Weaver or something, then it's beneficial to open the Ring of Health first, just to play it on the safe side. Treads first would be very aggressive. A Ring of Health first is a little more passive. Like if let's say I'm in a lane and I have like brown boots and I have like 900 gold, but I've used a salve and I've used like 3 tangos, so I have 5 tangos to get me another 850 gold. Let's say I'm missing like 100 health. I'll probably just buy the Ring of Health, even though I could get the treads first. I know that treads first is going to cost me HP because I'm going to use them to jungle earlier, so I might as well get the Ring of Health first. Play safe, knowing that I'll conserve a little more of my tangos while I'm jungling here, or while I'm laning, and while I'm harassing. And then when I get my treads, I'll be able to use the jungle a little more efficiently because I'll have that extra regen backed up. So that's really it. So some bullet points again. High regen, I think, is the best way to go when you're coming to lane. It's going to get used one way or another. And you don't want to depend on using the courier because it gimps your mid. And that about covers the video on your opening items. This was way longer than I thought. I was going to be like 5-minute video tops. I think we're probably at like 8 or 9. But cool. The next video we're probably going to do is farming patterns. Yeah, that's fun. Love fucking farming patterns. Alright, see you in the next one.